secretary that is, your grandson is not in Mexico and your car warranty isn't expiring. You need to protect yourself from the latest scams, understanding how they work. Today, Jim will share some ideas about that exact topic. Jim received his bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering from UCLA and was involved in wartime simulation, serving as captain in the United States Air Force. Jim is currently the director of software development at the Santa Clara County Office of Education. He brings years of experience working with small to medium-sized businesses and securing their technology. Jim has learned how to translate the technical obscurities into the language of the rest of us and has earned the title of Geek Whisperer. Hopefully that'll become an ongoing love comment about Mr. Jim. Please give a warm welcome to our own Jim Carrillo.
And Ira, you're able to hear me right now, okay? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm wearing this little earpiece here for them. So it's not that I'm just like bragging about my technical competencies and, you know, you get the Bluetooth people walking around all the time. It's got a purpose. And then for you all, I'll speak into the microphone so you can hear me. So we're going to talk today about the perfect scam, and it's really going to be a how-to. So if y'all want to take notes, you might be able to earn a few bucks yourself. So let's see if I got the first thing I want to talk about is we're going to talk about the types of scams that exist. And if you can hit me with that next slide. Somebody's, no, it's not yours. It's fine. Just a second, let me get this one.
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty. You should have received something in the mail about your car's extended warranty.
Oh.
Since we have not gotten a response, we are giving you a final courtesy call before we close out your file.
Am I lucky enough to have answered the phone at the right time? Has anybody else found out that their extended warranty is expiring? How did they know? I know 5 times a day. How'd they know? More, how did they get my phone number? Don't you always wonder that? How did they get my phone number? What list am I on? I tried to click, don't call me again, and yet they call me every single day. These are the sophistications that are happening with our scams. Scams aren't new. Scams have been happening since, well, I don't know, Adam and Eve probably. I'm sure Adam pulled one over on Eve and the rest is history, right? But scams happen for a reason. And if we could get our next slide. The scammers are trying to play on 3 of our emotions. They're trying to play on our fears, our greed, and our loneliness. And if they can catch you on one of those emotions, they're probably going to be successful. On that last scam that I just played on the phone that was fear, right? Oh my gosh, I'm afraid that I might have forgotten to fill out that information on my extended warranty. My daughter in her first year of college texts me while I'm at work and says, Dad, I have a question. I said, what? She goes, should I do it? Should I get the extended warranty? She has a 2000 Honda Accord. I didn't buy no extended warranty for that puppy. I said, Emily, you don't have a warranty at all, let alone an extended warranty. So it's not just people of a certain age that are getting scammed, young, midlife. My mother, she's getting these exact same calls. So we all have to kind of understand where they're coming from. When it comes to greed, and there are a lot of different ways that scammers are taking advantage of us when it comes to greed. I heard that there's a Nigerian prince that somebody is sponsoring in the back of the room, right, Roger? That's right, because that scam goes on with, they've got millions of dollars. They need to be able to bring it into America. Just send them $500 for the taxes. They'll deposit a lot of money into your account. It will. So the scary thing about technology today, because you think that we know them all, right? Nobody's going to do the Nigerian prince. But think about some of the things that are happening today that are just right in the news. Has anybody heard of Bitcoin? Does anybody understand Bitcoin? No, right? Nobody understands. Even the people at Bitcoin don't even have a clue what Bitcoin does. But everybody wants to get on that bandwagon, right? And make $10,000 by a simple investment. How easy is it going to be to play on somebody's greed for that one? Especially the young kids that are just kind of coming in their own. They need money. Well, let's sell them some Bitcoin. And then, of course, the loneliness. Now, in the loneliness, sometimes people think directly to this thing called catfishing, where somebody impersonates a 25-year-old girl with brown hair. She has a home. No, that's the one that was talking to me, but I don't think that she's actually a catfisher. But we think of that in regards to, being attracted to people. But there's other forms of loneliness. My mom lives on her own. She's lonely. She might not just be looking for a companionship. She just might be looking for someone to talk to say, hey, how's it going? And people can take advantage of that. People can take advantage of my loneliness. Sometimes I just want to go out and have a beer with someone, and there's nobody to have a beer with during the pandemic. So I might find somebody to have a conversation online. I don't know who I'm having the conversation with sometimes. All right, now the three things that you'll find when scammers are trying to scam you is they're going to try to get use of your computer, access information, or in the end, get money. How many people are worried that if they click on one of those malware programs, it's going to get their bank information? Isn't that a fear, right? That's probably the last thing they care about, because that's so hard to do. What they actually want to do is they want to use your computer. They want to use it as a resource. And we'll go to the next slide and I'll show you why. This is an example of an email that was sent out to a person for Costco, and their Costco order was delayed, and they want them to click on this link right there. This is probably has a malware link on it. It's going to install something on the computer. And the question is why doesn't the government just find out who's sending these emails out and stop them, right? Because the people that are sending the emails out are you and I, and we don't even know it. Because if we accidentally clicked on one of these links, something's going to be installed in our computer in the background. We'll never know. It's just sitting there. They call it as a service, and it's sending out these emails from our system. So now the government can't just go find somebody and crack them down and turn them off. We're all part of that scam. And that's why it's so prevalent, because when a scammer can send out millions of emails and it costs them nothing because they're using our computers, well, they're just going to continue doing it. Because if one person answers their scam and buys that insurance, that extended warranty, well, there you go. Let's go to the next one. The other thing that scammers want to do is they want to collect information. And sometimes the information isn't passwords. It might just simply be, what kind of computer are you using? So in this particular case, this is specific to a Windows computer. And they're like, oh, we're going to trap this person. We know what websites they visit. We collected that one. We're going to set up a little trap. So the next time they go visit that website, or when they click on a link that we send them, we're going to give them this message. They're going to say, oh, I got a virus, and I better call that phone number and see if they can help me out. This one, especially because they give you a phone number, very effective scam, because we think I'm calling them, they're not calling me. It means they must be legitimate. Hit me with the next one. A lot of you use Apple computers. So you're not immune to that as well. By them knowing, when I say them, the scammers, when they know what type of computer you use, they can deliver the message that's relevant to you. So they're using that as the information. All right, hit me with the next slide. So we've got the scammers are trying to get use of your computer. Sometimes it's just to use it as a resource to perpetuate the scam. The next one is to access information, and eventually that will lead to money. Now, hit me with that next slide. I want you to listen to this one.
Before we close out your file, press 2 to be removed and put on our do not call list. Press 1 to speak with someone about possibly extending or reinstating your car's warranty.
All right, so now I'm going to get into what do you do. That was the same call that I got before, and they said to press 2 to be put on the do not call list, or press 1 if you'd like to speak to a representative. Which one would you press? Well, who said neither? Absolutely, because I'll tell you what pressing 2 does. It puts you in a database that says this person's willing to interact with me. And so now I know that they're willing to press buttons and they think this is a real call. You might get a different call next time. And that 2 might be for something else. When you interact with the scam, whether it's an email or phone call, you're now adding yourself to the list of an interactor, and you have much higher probability of being fooled by one of the scams. All right, so just don't do anything, just hang up, right? Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that we're always gonna have to deal with it? No, fortunately, our phones have little things that say block number. So use those features to protect yourself, as opposed to their lie that if you press 2, you're gonna be put on a do not call list. Maybe with that next one. Oh, with the advent of technology, scammers are extremely sophisticated. And so I want you to hear this next one. Go ahead.
Hi, is Ken there?
Yeah, this is Jim.
Oh, hi, this is Adrian Baker, and I'm calling from FamTel on behalf of President's Choice Financial MasterCard. How are you doing today?
I'm giving a Rotary presentation right now.
Great, I'm glad to hear that. Now, please be advised this call will be recorded for quality assurance purposes, and I just wanted to take a quick moment of your time to ask you a couple of questions and to share a brief message with you. Would that be okay?
Are you a real person?
You are speaking with a live person. I'm just using a computer for quality control purposes.
Oh, well, then in that case, what's your favorite pizza?
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that?
What is your favorite pizza?
Hello?
Oh, I'm still here.
Are you there?
I am.
Okay, well, with Credit Alert Plus, what we want to do is send you a copy of your credit report.
If you haven't received one of those yet, I am amazed. I mean, I've had one of them was this young, I want to say 25-year-old girl, and she was, no, it was a different person. No, it was a young girl, actually. It was like a valley girl talking. She's like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, fine. Oh, good, good. And I had a conversation with this girl, and then I'm like, I don't know if I'm talking to a real person. And then I felt guilty for hanging up on them, because what if it was a real person and I'm hanging up on them? And I started playing around with that, asking questions. And this particular one did have the sophistication to know when you ask the question, is this a real person? It had a response to that one. But you saw that when I asked the question, and that was an example of a real one, what kind of pizza do you like? That didn't get programmed into their artificial intelligence. So it didn't know what to say. So it defaulted to, I think something's going wrong. I can't hear you. Can you hear me type of thing, to get you back on a yes type of answer. And so I said, yes, I can hear you. And he's like, fine, let me start off with my sales pitch one more time. So these scams aren't just, somebody trying to ask for money on the side of the road. These scams are starting to get a little bit more hard to recognize. Let's see what else we got. All right, so I've got the fear, the greed, the loneliness. Who is it that's taking advantage of us? Hit me with this. Is that our scammer? Somebody wearing a scary mask? Maybe it's, go to the next one. El Chapo. Because El Chapo's always out to get you. Well, how are they getting my information? How did they know my phone number? How did they know that I had a car that even needed a warranty? Let's see that next slide. These are the culprits, right? Facebook. It's got a lot of information about me. Go to the next one. Oh, Google. I use Google Mail. Google knows everything about me. All right, what's the next one? If you can't see that, what does that say? Club Runner. Did you all know that when you install Club Runner, it asks you, can I see your contacts? And if you allow it, which I would say 90% of us do that, we install an application. Can I see? Of course you could see my contacts. It's Club Runner. Now, I'm not suggesting that Club Runner is nefarious, but let me tell you that if there was an application that you were installing that was nefarious, and it said, can I see your contacts? Guess where they get the phone numbers of all the people that they're going to be calling? And if they can cross-reference those phone numbers with other lists, for example, let's say I'm on Jan's phone, she gets that here. Maybe I'm on Roger's phone, it gets that there. It starts to realize that Jan and Roger are both in Rotary. Jim must be in Rotary. Jim likes to give to certain causes. Now these systems can start creating profiles about me, and I didn't have anything to do with it, because who am I really worried about, Chris? That's the next one. That's who I'm worried about. This is the problems. Or who's the next one? It is him. That is where my information is out there. But they're not doing it on purpose. And let me show you who I'm really worried about. This is my daughter. She is on every social media you can imagine. I know my contact information is in her phone. I have no idea what she's installing, who she's sharing it with. Even when it comes to your applications, there's little fun things like games that you can install in your browser. And it says, can I access your contacts? And you're like, of course you can. Not. And now my daughter is spreading my information. Let's go to the next one. That's my mom. I'll tell you what, I've gotten my mom on so many scams I can't even count. So I know if I can get my mom on scams, somebody else is getting her to answer questions that she's not realizing. So my information's now out there. Now let me tell you the worst person that's out there. That's my wife. Holy moly, we're talking about Facebook, Instagram. So if you think you're protected because you don't go on Facebook, which by the way, I don't go on Facebook. I don't like that thing. I don't go on Facebook. I don't go on Instagram. But I guarantee you that my information is out there all over the place because it's not me that's accidentally spreading it. It's all the people that I know that have my information in their phone. It's their profiles. It's what they're interested in that they the scammers can start these of who they are. So as an example, anyone in here in the Rotary, we could profile you automatically that you're into giving, right? You're into giving to certain types of charities. So if there was a scam that was targeted at any Rotary member, I would immediately revert to that in my mind. Let's get them scamming on, would you donate to a specific charity? Because your mind is already in that model. Let's see what we got next. Oh, this is a ruthless one. This is terrible. Go ahead and hit me.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hi,
You know who this is?
Randy?
Yeah.
What's the matter?
I've been in a car wreck.
Are you all right, Dad?
My ribs and my jaw. That's why I'm talking the way I am. Grandma, I don't want Mom. I don't want nobody to know.
We won't tell your mother, Dad.
Sure sounded like him on the phone.
Do anything to help any of our grandkids.
Yeah, I'd do anything to help my grandson. That's exactly what my mom would say about my daughters. She'd do anything to help them. And I do know that if my daughters wanted to confide in my mom and said, don't tell Dad, she would say, I won't tell Dad. And these two people this was a news show, they were actually scammed $500 to this person, and it wasn't their grandson. But in this particular scam, how would a person have known what their grandson's name is? Facebook, right? I mean, there's so much stuff on Facebook. There's got to be emails. There's got to be contacts. I bet you in their phone, in their contact for their grandson, it says grandson. So they know now that this person has a grandson, and they can play on that information to take advantage. So, boy, this scam hits home in a couple of ways. They're playing on their fear that their grandson is, in jeopardy. They're playing on their loneliness. Maybe the grandson hasn't called them in the past couple of years, and they're just so excited to hear from him. This is happening to you. It's happening to me. It's happening to our parents, and it's happening to our children. Let's go to the next one. So how do we stay away from it? I mean, one thing we can do is just throw away all our devices and, log off the internet. I don't want anything involved with this. But the reality is it's not going to protect you. And it makes me think about when people were telling me, I said, hey, I'm going over to Europe. We're going to do an Italy tour. And they said, watch out for the pickpockets. Anybody ever tell you guys that? Watch out for the I was there. I didn't see any pickpockets, but I could have said, well, then forget it. I'm not going to Italy. Well, that'd be a bummer. But instead, what I said is, I'm going to be aware that there are pickpockets. I'm going to put my money in a little money belt. I'm not going to leave my phone hanging in my hand. I'll be conscious of what's going on. I went to Italy, had no problems with people doing pickpocketing, and I enjoyed myself. So that's my advice to you too is, yes, there's some fear, but it doesn't mean that you have to stop living. Just be aware. The other thing that we could do is talk to others, share your experiences with others. And Roger, you were joking earlier when you told me about the Nigerian prince, and I totally knew that you were joking. And someone like you is like, I can see that a mile away, but by you sharing your stories with other people, there might be folks here that aren't familiar with the Nigerian prince, and they can be prepared then to not be hit by that one. And then by sharing our stories, we're not out there on our own, right? If somebody does call you and says that they're your grandchild, they need help, call a friend. Hey, I'm on the phone with my grandson. What do you think? Get another perspective on that one. Maybe that person can call the mom or find out. So there's a lot of scams out there. Hopefully you learned a few. Maybe you can, get something out of your spouse tonight. Do a prank call or something like that, pull one over on them. Or the next time you get called for a warranty that is just about to expire, you could just hang up and ignore it. Thanks. Right. Yeah. So what she's saying is it is not hard to copy a company's logo. Costco, I can go online and get a copy of their logo. I can make an email that looks like theirs. I can impersonate them. What's extremely difficult though is to get into their system and send an email from their system. So you'll usually see that the from address is not going to be from jim@costco.com. It's going to be from I'm going to scam you right now.com. And those are the kind of the keys that you're looking for when it comes to email scams. Or on the phone ones, they might mask their phone number and it says private caller. Although these days, they don't care, right? They're just whipping through. Yes. Which one's that? What's the PG&E scam? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's like the good old, hey, if you don't pay your bill right now, we're going to cut off your electricity. Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks.
Shutting you down. So I had somebody one time on their computer get a warning that the computer was locked up because it had been detected pornography, and it had the whole thing on there. It actually was child pornography. And when the person called me, I said, well, first of all, it's not real because they don't alert you. They show up. So, yeah. And the other thing is the timing thing, right, Jim? So the warranty is the timing, especially if you have a new car. They're hoping that you fall for it because if you have a car that's about a year old, it's a timing thing. So you're kind of expecting that kind of a call. So any of those emails that you get, just think about it, especially if they ask for your password, or log in, it might look like it is from Microsoft, and it's not Microsoft. So thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. And now we have the answer.